if you have not lived through what I've lived through, you cannot tell me to not be frustrated. I normally wait until the evening time to do this, and I'm gonna try to move pretty quickly because I'm in the parking lot. I picked up something from my mom for her giant tea that's happening this weekend. I'm helping her with that. She throws all sorts of events and weddings and all those things. So I'm in her car because I don't have a car, so this is not my vehicle. She has a very nice vehicle. Shout out to my mom. But yeah, I just had an hour-long conversation with Brandon. So this morning, I have a new mentor. His name is Micah. Shout out to Micah. He is the founder of ATL Collective, which is a nonprofit based in Atlanta. I do work with ATL Collective. Like, I did all of their nighttime programming for their songwriter camp that happened earlier this year in January. It was a really incredible experience for me, but I asked him to start mentoring me just because I like the way that he operates. I like the way that he speaks to people. I like the way that he thinks. Yeah. So he started mentoring me this month. Well, really last month. We had a mentor call in March. And so today, what I asked him for the mentorship is I want an hour with him once a month, and then an hour with somebody in his network who can help me once a month. But he said realistically that was going to be hard to keep up with. So every other month I meet with one of his contacts, and this was the first month that started that, and then I meet with him. So today he connected me to a guy named Dan who owns an agency called Oust, and they like manage other agencies, but they also do their own things. It was really helpful and insightful because he basically just said that BYOD needed to streamline our offering. We need to be pitching ourselves as event curators, experience designers, etc., who focus on underserved communities like the Black community, which is great because that's really what we do. We have a niche within the Black community. We're great at that. We do a little bit of consulting with it, but he was like, that seems to be where the highest profit value is going to be for y'all. And I had told him that I'm like transitioning personally out of the artist management stuff just because I don't want to be with artist facing stuff. I told him about Holy Smoke, the festival that we owned that we just gave up because the artists threatened legal action against us because they wanted to own it, whole thing. Bullshit. I think I talked about it already, but I don't know if I did. Anyways, yeah, so he was just like, y'all need to start pitching to these type of brands, and it may take a while because they typically already have agencies that they work with. But as you start to get competitive pitches in, open up the door, that's probably where you guys will succeed. Cool. It was helpful too because Brandon and I spoke to each other on Monday, and we decided that we really wanted to focus on events because we can get like, this is lofty, we haven't landed one this big yet, but you can get like a $50,000, maybe like a $50,000 brand partnership, and maybe the actual event only cost you 20 grand. So that's a 30 grand payday versus an artist manager. You get an artist $100,000 payday and you're going to take home probably $20,000, right? So it's like, yeah, and that's like rare that you get an artist that big of a payday, and the amount of work that it takes to get that big of a payday. So for the management to only get that, and then you split it up between the team, it's a headache, right? So we are just like, it doesn't make sense for us to focus on that. We're still working with artists, but we need to focus on events and really streamline our process, right? Okay, so it was affirming, cool. I took notes. I sent the notes to Brandon. And then I recorded the final episode of the MEC podcast today. Radio, Issa Rae's company, acquired the MEC. Originally, we were told that we would be part of it. I was told that I would be part of the transition in the process, maybe potentially come on as like a dean, help with programming, whatever. That was last year. I have reached out, followed up, nothing. So the transition is happening, but we don't know what's happening. I am most likely not going to be a part of that transition or get any type of new job situation from that. Obviously, we haven't talked about it. If it comes about, great, but there's been no discussion, and today was the last episode of the podcast, and stuff is supposed to be transitioning over all month, which means my last paycheck was last month. I got it at the top of this month for the end of March. So yeah, I had the mentor call where he's like, basically, y'all need to rebrand and change up your framework. Then I did the last episode of the MEC, and then I called Brandon to discuss the notes that I took from the mentor call. And almost immediately after we finished recording the MEC, I started feeling just so discouraged. I'm like, this was something that I really believed in, and I was a part of it for almost 2 years. Every single week recording podcast episodes. Like, we didn't skip. There's a couple weeks that I missed over the course of almost 2 years, but the guys kept it going. Like, either I was like flying or like whatever, but if I was available, I'm pulling up, we're talking. So it's like, that's gone, which is also a stream of revenue. I'm about to exit a company that I helped build in invite only. So that company I'm exiting, which is also another stream of income. But it just feels like, damn, I spent years getting to the point where I could build that company and bring in the artist and create the vision. And now it's like I'm leaving. And I talked to Brandon, it seems like the whole thing is just going to get shut down. And the new thing is going to be under our other business partner, which is cool. But it's like, okay, and then we have no income coming in to build your own dreams right now. Like, none. Like, we have made a total, I think, of $4,000 this whole year, and all of that came from a sync that we landed last month. There are other syncs that have landed that we haven't gotten paid for. There are, other people who we have, like, stuff out for, you know what I'm saying? Like, people are requesting us to work with them. So, we have some contract, what do you call it? Like, not contracts. We have some business proposals out, but my company is broke. The one company that I still have, we have about $30,000 in debt, and we have about $16K in the bank that comes from an artist budget. So it's like, that's just borrowed time, basically. It's not like our money. And we're contemplating laying off the whole team because they're not really growing our money. Aside from the graphic designer, we're going to keep him on. I make $500 a month off of it, and after taxes, it ends up being like $480 or $460 something. I just lost 2 streams of income. I'm still working on artist management for Wande. That's still a way that I earn income, but I never know. One month it could be $300, and another month it could be $2,000. But even if it's a $2,000 month and I make $500 from Build Your Own Dreams, being 34, not owning a car, not owning a house, having bet my entire life on this dream, I'm really discouraged. Like, the festival was a dream and years and years and years in the making, and we no longer own that. Well, we still own it. It's just not going to happen again. My booking agency, years in the making. Everything that I've ever built, poured into Trap Sushi, the show that I helped. Come on, look at this. It's a sushi roll. It's an event series that I conceptualized the name, helped come up with everything. It was me and my business partner, and we did everything. And then his girlfriend didn't like me, so I did the decent thing and I bowed out of it because she was trying to take over a lot. I brought her in on the team, gave her 1/3 of the revenue, and it just turned into this, like, there was a lot of animosity. It was a lot of unspoken stuff. I know she was just talking shit about me, so I was like, look, y'all can have the event. I'm more interested in peace. Just give me a revenue split. They gave me some money the first show, and they gave me the same exact amount the second event. And I know that it was making more than that because I would have made more than that. I just know that they weren't giving me the right numbers. And then I never got paid from there. And then I got a call like 3 or 4 months later, like, yo, we haven't paid you because you told us you were going to do it in another city and you haven't thrown it in another city yet. And I'm like, in Atlanta, we had a built-in audience, something that had cultivated year over year over year from the efforts I had made to throw events and from the promotional efforts of the event that we had, Trap Sushi. So like, I can't just go to another city and throw it at a venue. Like, we had a free venue in Atlanta. Again, a built-in audience. We had a process, a mechanism. We had a sushi vendor. I'm like, how am I supposed to just go to another city and start throwing it and make money? It's going to end up costing me money. I got to front all the costs because y'all aren't going to give me any. And then you want a revenue split? I was like, it's going to take time to develop that. So we're a year later and we're about to start throwing it in Austin, but it's like, I haven't gotten paid in over a year, and this show is one of the biggest events in Atlanta. And I own it, but I'm not getting paid from it. So I was just driving here to pick up this stuff for my mom, and I just started crying because I'm like, my 34th birthday, and I wasn't attempting to cry on here, but my 34th birthday is in like 20 days. And I have spent my entire life building other people and building dreams for other people and building visions that I really believed in, but mostly for other people. And like, I have nothing to show for it. We just spent the last 7 months working for an artist who essentially never signed a contract with us. And it looks like the contract is never going to be signed. It's dark. I don't even care because I just have to get this off. If I'm being honest, I am saying WTF, God. The last video I posted, I was super discouraged. Or not even posted, recorded. I was super duper discouraged. And like started to like tear up. I might have even cried a little bit. And then my phone overheated and I never finished the video. I went through ebbs and flows over the last, I think that was almost 3 weeks ago when I recorded that. Today is a week from my birthday. And yeah, I like was super duper discouraged. And then just kind of like mellowed out. And today, I don't want to say that I'm like back to the discouragement. I just am so separated from my feelings about it at this point because I'm tired of feeling discouraged. But multiple more doors just slammed in my face in the last 24 hours. And I'm just kind of like, what gives? What's up? Like, what do I have to do? I don't know. I don't know what it is that God is preparing me for or setting up. I just don't have the emotional capacity to grieve what I thought was going to happen. That's it. I just am like, cool, I just got to keep going because I keep getting no's. And I'm just like, and not only no's, one of the things that happened yesterday was the closing of a chapter of somebody else just taking a lot from me, a lot. I'm just not interested in grieving it anymore because I'm just over feeling the letdown. So I'm like, okay, we're just gonna keep it moving. I don't know if this is a trauma response or growth, but I'm just here. Like I'm let down, but I can't even find the space to be sad. I'm just kind of like, what? Again? I had somebody try to tell me essentially to keep your chin up and don't get upset yesterday. And I was like, I literally texted Brandon and I'm like, this person is about to catch some hands. If you have not lived through what I've lived through, you cannot tell me to not be frustrated. Because yesterday I was extremely frustrated. I saw something else that I had come up with for someone else on the internet. With that person, but not with me. I'm so sick of that. I'm so sick of people cherry picking my ideas. I'm sick of people wanting me around but not wanting to pay me. I'm sick of everybody saying, yeah, let's do this, and then being like, actually, let's not. I'm over it, y'all. And I'm over people who have never had to suffer the way that I've suffered, over people who have never been in the type of drought that I'm in currently, telling me to breathe and chill. Don't do that. Don't do that, because you're not in my shoes. You don't know what it feels like to be here yet again. But I'm just kind of like, whatever at this point. I feel like I can't find a fuck to give at this point. I'm just like, what?